Okay, so if this channel is going to endorse any feature film thus released in the 2020s thus far, let it be Alexander Sokorov's 2021 or 22 release Fairy Tale. Sokorov was the director of the second ever film discussed for FOTD, 1988's Days of Eclipse. Since then, we also uploaded a brief discussion for 1999/2000's Dolch, and also 1990's The Second Circle. With Fairy Tale, Sokurov presents, though this is not too uncommon for him, a work which strikes one upon first impression as the most exciting and elegant, provocative, stimulating yet of his oeuvre, and yet the more time passes, the less that feeling appears. It feels less like one, and more like some sort of more permanent revelation. I think what Sokurov accomplished here is something which obviously we can see it as a linear, transcendent progression of an idea which began at least in 1999 with Moloch, which created a study of Adolf Hitler in 2001, and Taurus, Telets, which did the same, committed to the same procedure with Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin. There's also 2005's, I can't remember, The Sun, the film about Emperor Hirohito. Sokurov has lent himself to this sort of pathologizing, right down to adapting Faust in 2011 and considering the strong renditions of that storyline on screen from the likes of Murnau in the silent era to Svankmajer in the animation realm. We can be no less, we can be even more and astoundingly impressed with Sokurov that he composed the finest of all cinematic Fausts thus far. I think even, oh, unless you count The Tragedy of Man by Marcel Jankovic, of course, which came out the same year, 2011. In any case, Fairy Tale, these depictions of figures such as the aforementioned Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, joined by Winston Churchill, Benito Mussolini, brief apparitions of Jesus of Nazareth, plus Napoleon Bonaparte. I think one of the most fascinating facets of Fairy Tale, it's not necessarily the screenplay, which would have read very well, although, and it's not even in the use of these, at reanimating these diseased historical icons via this deep fake AI technology. It's rather the limbo which has been composed around them, displayed in to some degree in my screen caps. I feel as though if any artist is going to both reconfigure the relevance of a certain more introspective art house cinema whilst championing the infinitesimal possibility of digital computer generated animation, it's going to be Alexander Sokurov. And it may as well have been someone with as relentless and kind of courageous a visionary approach to this medium. If Sokurov's final film had been 2015's Francophonia, that would have been all well and good. Although he's prior to the 2020s, Sokurov's status as one of the most important sires in the cinematic arts, the most important Russian filmmaker after the existence chronologically after Tarkovsky, and Sokurov still not only the most important film artist to emerge from that part of the globe who's alive today, but in any corner of the globe. I hope that one finds themselves with the opportunity to view Fairy Tale. It may very well be the finest film of the 2020s thus far. I'm going to list off the films which I have considered the strongest of the 2020s thus far. It's a short list. I haven't been attempting to keep up very fastidiously, although those films which I will be mentioning very shortly are ones which have been discussed on the channel. They're films I tend to think about more so. As a result, I discussed them on the channel, or did so in order so that they might become a more permanent fixture of my memory. In any case, let's see those films. Move over Villeneuve's Dune, move over Zack Snyder's Justice League, Terrence Davies' Benediction, even Deng Xiaoping's Deep Sea. Here it is, Alexander Sokolov's Fairy Tale. Absolutely, this is my favourite film of the 2020s thus far. Perhaps I like to think, in the long run, the aesthetic project that is Fairy Tale will be possibly even more well known as the blueprint, the creative blueprint with which an associate of mine devised a means with which to communicate to the world one of the grander projects, ideally, of our time to be unleashed. And I've had the privilege of being witness to its conjuring. We'll discuss that project more, hopefully, in the future, hopefully via some of the projects you witness on a website known as Furia Video. Go check it out right now, actually. There's already one particular upload from my associate on there, and an old article I've written, which has been on a previous website before, although now it's there as well. It's an article I wrote about The Most Dangerous Man Alive by Alan Dwan and Beast and Haunted Cave by Monty Hellman. It's kind of fun. In any case, I think I'll close it here. I hope you enjoyed these screen caps of Fairy Tale. I hope you became aware of its existence. If you are already aware of its existence, I hope you're quite fond of the film. And if you were disappointed by the film in some way, I don't know. I think your imagination has a terminal case. Well, Fairy Tale. The last breath of interesting cinema we may see in some time. We have to transform cinema into a different medium because it's become a very traditional, formal, sort of archaic, orthodox-like behaviour to participate in the film community. We're like traditionalists, and I feel like cinema didn't feel like an act of traditionalism until maybe we've hit the late 2010s to 2020s here. Let me know if you have any distinct thoughts on this in the comments, and if you're so inclined. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it very immensely.